Imagine this. The chief minister of your state, the elected head of your government, has just been arrested on serious charges. Days turn into weeks and they remain behind bars. But every day, files are sent to their cell, orders are signed. The government of a state with millions of people is being run from a prison. Is this democracy in action or a mockery of it? Is it the right of an elected leader to govern until proven guilty, or is it a moral stain on the fabric of our public life? This isn't just a hypothetical scenario, it's a question that has rocked Indian politics, forcing us to confront a deep and unsettling dilemma. And in the year 2025, the Union government brought this debate to a head, right onto the floor of Parliament, with three of the most contentious pieces of legislation in recent memory, the bills to oust arrested ministers. Hello everyone, welcome to UPSC Wise, and I'm your host Deepak Sharma. Today we are not just discussing a set of bills, we are dissecting a moment of constitutional reckoning. We will explore the provisions of these bills, the fiery arguments for and against them, their deep constitutional implications, and most importantly, what this debate means for you as the future custodians of the Indian Constitution. Let's begin. The date is August 20, 2025. The monsoon session of Parliament is underway. The air inside the Lok Sabha is thick with tension. It's not the usual buzz of legislative business, it's the quiet hum of an impending storm. The Union Home Minister rises to introduce three bills, but these are no ordinary amendments, they are political thunderbolts. The bills are 1. The Government of Union Territories Amendment Bill 2025, 2. The Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Amendment Bill 2025, and 3. The centerpiece, the Constitution 130th Amendment Bill 2025. The opposition benches erupt, cries of unconstitutional and anti-federal echo through the hall. The government's stated objective to inject political morality into government. The opposition's accusation, a blatant attempt to weaponize central agencies and destabilize state governments. This isn't just a debate, it's a battle for the very soul of our federal democracy. To understand this battle, we must first understand the weapons being deployed. Let's examine the key provisions of these bills. So what exactly do these bills propose that has caused such an uproar? The mechanism is deceptively simple, but its implications are profound. A prime minister, a chief minister, or any other minister can be removed from office if two specific conditions are met. First, the grounds for removal. The individual must be accused of an offence punishable with imprisonment for 5 years or more. This is the gravity clause. It's meant to apply only to serious crimes, not petty offences. And second, they must be arrested and detained in custody for 30 consecutive days without bail. This is the critical trigger. It's not about conviction, but about prolonged pre-trial detention. Now the procedure for removal. The bills offer a 24-hour window for voluntary resignation. If a minister completes 30 days in custody, they are expected to resign by the 31st day. But here's the controversial part, automatic removal. If the minister does not resign, they will automatically cease to hold office from the day thereafter. The power to remove a union minister rests with the president and a state minister with the governor, both of course acting on the aid and advice of the respective councils of ministers. Crucially, the bills also include a reappointment clause. A minister removed under these provisions can be reappointed after being released from custody. This small detail tells us everything. The removal is tied to the status of detention, not the final verdict of guilt. This marks a fundamental departure from our existing legal framework. And that brings us to the core of the conflict. Okay, let's pause. As a UPSC aspirant, your mind should be firing on all cylinders. What principles are at stake here? Think about Article 14, Article 21, the doctrine of separation of powers, and the landmark Lily Thomas case. We'll get to those, but first, let's understand the government's justification for such a drastic move. Why introduce these bills at all? The government, led by the Home Minister's powerful oratory in Parliament, framed it as a moral crusade. Their arguments can be broken down into a few key pillars. First, elevating ethics in public life. The core message was about restoring integrity. The government argued that individuals holding high constitutional posts cannot continue to govern if they are facing serious criminal charges and are unable to secure bail for a month. Then second, ending governance from jail. The Home Minister pointed to what he called an astonishing situation in recent years, citing real-world examples like former Delhi K. Arvind Kejriwal and Tamil Nadu Minister V.S. Senthil Balaji, who continued to hold office while incarcerated. And third, setting a personal example. In a powerful rhetorical move, the Home Minister recalled his own arrest in 2010. He stated that he had resigned from his constitutional post before his arrest and only returned to public office after being fully acquitted. He contrasted this with the opposition's stance, framing it as a case of his government being willing to subject itself to the law, while the opposition sought to remain above the law. This narrative of morality, accountability, and cleaning of politics is powerful, but the opposition sees a very different picture. The opposition's criticism was swift, scathing, and based on three fundamental objections. First, the violation of core constitutional principles. They argue it undermines a presumption of innocence. This is the cornerstone of our criminal justice system, enshrined implicitly in Article 21. It's punishment before trial. This, they contend, is a challenge to the basic structure of the Constitution. By allowing the executive to trigger the removal of an elected representative, it disrupts the separation of powers. Second, the specter of political misuse. This is the opposition's deepest fear. They see these bills as the ultimate tool for vendetta politics. The concern is that central agencies like the ED or CBI could be used to strategically target opposition chief ministers or key ministers, arrest them on politically motivated charges, ensure bail is delayed for 30 days, and voila, an elected government is destabilized without a single vote being cast against it. Rahul Gandhi called it a return to medieval times where a king could remove anyone at will. Third, the erosion of federalism. The bills are labeled anti-federal because they empower governors who are appointed by the centre to remove elected chief ministers. This is seen as a direct intrusion by the centre into the autonomy of state governments, upsetting the delicate federal balance that is a hallmark of our constitution. This wasn't a quiet academic debate, it was a political firestorm. Imagine the scene: a Trinamool MP Kalyan Banerjee rises and with a flourish of defiance tears the bill into pieces and throws them towards the Home Minister's desk. The debate becomes personal. Congress MP K.C. Venugopal directly challenges the Home Minister. The Home Minister, unflinching, fires back. In the end, amidst the chaos, the bills are introduced and referred to a joint parliamentary committee for scrutiny. The immediate battle is paused, but the constitutional war has just begun. Stop and think. You are the cabinet secretary. The Prime Minister has been arrested. Or you are the chief secretary and your CM is in jail. The JPC is debating this bill. You are asked to provide a neutral constitutional brief on the pros and cons. What are the key legal precedents you would cite? This is where your deep knowledge is tested. Let's dive into that. To truly grasp this issue, we need to compare the existing framework with the proposed one. Currently, the law is clear. Article 75 Section 2 and 164 Section 2 state ministers hold office during the pleasure of the President or the Governor. The Representation of People Act 1951 is unequivocal. Disqualification occurs only after conviction. The new bills fundamentally alter this. They create a new ground for removal based solely on prolonged arrest and detention. This is the paradigm shift from a judicial process to an executive process. This is precisely why legal experts have flagged a basic structure challenge. So what is the way forward? How do we balance the demand for political morality with the need for constitutional safeguards? 1. Speedy trial of cases, the most obvious solution. Justice delayed is justice denied, both for the accused and for the electorate. 2. Bar on appointment post-framing of charges, a more robust measure suggested by the Supreme Court in the Lily Thomas case, as framing of charges happens after a magistrate has applied the judicial mind to the evidence. 3. An independent tribunal. To mitigate concerns of political misuse, an independent body could decide on removal rather than leaving it to executive discretion. The bills to oust arrested ministers are more than just a political controversy. They are a reflection of a fundamental tension in a democracy. On one hand, the visceral anger against corruption.
On the other, the profound fear of unchecked executive power. For you, the future policymakers and administrators, the debate is already here. This is the kind of complex layered issue you will be called upon to navigate. An issue with no easy answers, where law, morality, and politics collide. This is the tightrope you will walk. And in those moments, the Constitution, with its wisdom, its checks, and its balances, will be your only guide. Study it well, uphold it fiercely. That's all for today's video. If you found this video useful for your preparation, then share your thoughts in the comments. The PDF notes for this video are on my Telegram channel. The link is in the description. Thank you for joining me. Jai Hind.